Check. Welcome back to the Rapcast.
Welcome back to the Rapcast.
I'm Andrew, and this is Alex to the right of me. That's when we need the crazy soundboard.
What's up, YouTubers and Spotify listeners?
Is this the first? No, this is not the first Rapcast.
This is the first podcast I've ever done.
It shows.
I'm so nervous.
It shows, man.
What do I
You're
say?
You're fucking shaking in your boots, guy.
The whole time you're talking, I'm just like...
fucking sweating.
And you get visibly more sweaty as it goes.
Shit.
Which you'll only be able to see on YouTube.
Exactly. So, we are on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you get podcasts, pretty much, except for... Pandora's is not in Canada, so I don't know if we're actually.
If you open up Pandora's box, you'll find more episodes of the Rapcast. Yeah. That's the sort of...
That's the curse.
The last thing after releasing all the monsters was hope and more episodes of the Rapcast.
And then if you want to see a bunch of little visual gags and our beautiful little faces, then check us out on YouTube. At SuperFinger Inc., I believe, should be our thing on YouTube as well. But if not, there'll be descriptions. There'll be links in the descriptions if you want to see my new beautiful blonde hair. And my new tattoos.
Yeah.
A bit of a visual glow up in the past few weeks for me.
If you say so.
Come on.
No.
I'm an island boy. What can I say? Getting ready for the Barbie movie.
Yeah, you are kind of. You've been sort of Kenified.
I'm going Ken this summer. I'll probably see the movie 3 times in theaters. Once with my friends, once with my girlfriend, and once by myself.
And once while I jack off.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big summer for movies. We got Oppenheimer, we got Barbie.
Got White Men Can't Jump.
White Men Can't Jump. That we could actually do a full Rapcast review of that because 2 rappers are in the show or in the movie.
Yeah.
And I've seen the original White Men Can't Jump as well.
Okay, so if you guys want that, let us know, and we can do it. We could do a little live rev, just maybe for the Patreon that we haven't set up, and probably never will.
Just for the OnlyFans. Yeah. Steering away from that bit,
yes.
We would like to talk about
more I got uncomfortable as you kept talking. Anyway, go ahead.
That's why you pay us the big bucks, is because we know how to do a transition.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Funko Pops,
what?
The top of the pop charts is Taylor Swift featuring Ice Spice.
Oh, okay. I haven't listened to it. I haven't heard it.
I heard it earlier today. I don't like the original song, and the Ice Spice.
I saw the music video
makes
just
it even
like
worse,
they're like superimposed into like mountains and clouds and stuff. I mean, this is wild, freaky stuff here.
The only thing interesting about it was that it was sort of seen as a response to Taylor Swift dating Maddie Healy.
We promised we wouldn't do this.
We were
in front of the audience.
Look, I just want to say, because on the year-end episode last year, we put a denouncement out on Maddie Healy. We said he's being sus. He's like kissing fans, and he's being like overly, problematic white guy.
Yeah.
And then he was dating Taylor Swift, or rumors started to go out about it.
Yeah. And now, as of today, they've broken up. We're recording this on June the 5th.
And the fans got to her because they found that Maddie Healy was on a podcast, and he was making fun of Ice Spice.
Mm-hmm.
And doing racist voices.
Well, I think he called her like Chinese or something, and I'm like, you're not even correct in your racism, but go off.
She does have an ambiguous, ambiguous race, like I don't know what.
Yeah, it's true.
But still, it was kind of the Taylor Swift fans are one of the most rabid and powerful forces in popular culture right now.
They can fucking change the stock market if they wanted to, honestly.
Yeah.
Who's Matt Healy again?
A singer of 1975.
I don't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
They suck, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, no.
But
we're just finding very loose connections to talk about pop stuff for
some reason, I got 1975 and Arctic Monkeys mixed up, which I know will.
Arctic Monkeys have some good songs.
Yeah, Arctic Monkeys do have some good songs.
Oh, hey, while we're on the topic of canceling problematic white men.
Me? Are you going for me now?
No, that's next on the docket.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. Sorry.
Look, it's embarrassing to know there's a whole podcast episode of us singing the praises of Slowthai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to even put this in the docket.
I actually forgot about it until right now.
Yeah.
But like we are fans.
We sucked his dick quite hard on the liked review,
and his last album is still good.
Yes, but I have not gone back to any of it since the allegations. Just to play it safe, I think there's some sort of court trial thing. I think it's either June or July.
Yeah.
Coming up, so hopefully we'll have an answer, whether it be an answer that we would want or not.
The fact that it's going to court is not looking good. Like,
well, Rex Orange County also went to court, and it was all just thrown away, pretty much.
Yeah, but apparently I was reading up about some stuff like in the UK, it's more.
Rex Orange County is also from the UK as well.
Okay, did it go to the UK?
Yeah.
Court?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I remember seeing about as well. Of like when Rex Orange County was accused of some stuff last year, there was some stuff about like the UK court system is like you don't fuck with them. Like that's like if it's going to court, it's serious shit. But his was thrown out, so we'll see what happens with Slowthai. We're hoping for the best for the victim and for the fandom, but... Having
read the article, I kind of have to... I mean, we kind of err on the side of believing the woman, because, every time. You know, because it takes a lot to come out and say that something horrible happened to you.
Especially, like, with the rabid fan base and shit like that.
Yeah. That being said, I think Slowthai's fan base is probably... understanding enough to be like, not like everything he does is right, everything, defend him at all costs.
I just kept seeing the Slowthai subreddit in shambles the past few weeks of like, how do you get where's tattoo removal in UK type shit. I'm like, oh man,
my god,
like, we're getting tattoos of this shit.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I think he announced something. He posted about something on his Instagram page of like, none of it's true, whatever, right? That kind of, just kind of blanket lawyer statement or whatever. And I think it's gone from his Instagram now, so I don't know if that's a good thing. Probably is leaning towards a bad thing, so we'll see. We'll update you next time if there anything is...
the thing is, like, we can sing the praises of some art and then kind of stop listening to it a couple months afterwards and might not really return to it, or maybe hopefully, if this all turns out to be made up or it's wrong or something, then we can get back into Slowthai maybe. But, like, I'm not really listening to it right now. Yeah. It's the summertime.
Yeah, it's more smooth, easy listening stuff. And, like, to an extent, if we're comparing this to previous instances in hip-hop, like, I've had to go through this before with Code of the Friends. I was a pretty big Code of the Friend guy, and then it came out that he was kind of abusive in a few relationships. I've heard people say that none of it's true. It's still kind of just like he said, she said. So I kind of just stayed away from his music because it wasn't like that great to begin with, and also like he was preaching such a positive message and stuff that it kind of just irked me. But Slowthai is like he's showed his demons many times on many songs, and he clearly is a not mentally well adjusted necessarily. I mean, I don't know anything personal about the guy, but just, from the music, from what I take from the music, like, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world either to hear,
Yeah, it's unfortunate that happened, but c'est la vie. It's Pride Month out here. Me and my girlfriend were going to go get some Pride pins the other day, but, we forgot to get it.
No, because you didn't go to Target. That's how you do a transition, Alex, in this podcast game.
Okay, they're targeting our kids. Number one song on iTunes, I think this was a week ago or something. Yep. And even songs being number one on iTunes is kind of random anyway. Like, only old people use it.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't mean shit, yeah.
Like, you have to pay $1.99 to listen to the song or whatever. So that's like...
Josh still uses iTunes.
On some old-fashioned shit.
But I still like paying for music.
Yeah.
So.
But if you're going to pay for anyone's music, don't pay for this guy who did the song Boycott Target.
So who's do you remember the name of it?
His name is Forgiato Blow.
Yep. Popular quote-unquote right-wing pro-Trump rapper.
Yeah.
Which is like,
from the US.
What the hell kind of market is that? Who's listening to rap and being pro-Trump at the same time?
Plenty of people. NF, Tom McDonald. I don't know if NF's necessarily pro-Trump or whatever, but like he's, kind of that.
I'm saying, like, who's
Tom McDonald's
who's
pretty.
The audience?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
Southern
that's the
white
thing
people.
is there's lots of people in the Trump grifter sphere that are doing like, oh, I'm a rapper, I'm a this, I'm a that, but like, oh, I'll put some pro-Trump stuff in there to get my numbers juiced up a little bit.
Yeah, people just trying to get an audience, not necessarily caring what the audience is.
But these guys, like, they went to a Target.
They're for it. They seem to be for it. But
I guess it was, for some reason, it was Target that was being, like, brought up as the place that was bad. But, like, there's pride displays in,
most
like, every
businesses
store.
at this
whatever.
point. Yeah, most major retailers, probably.
Yeah.
And
By the way, we're from Toronto, so like we don't even have Targets out here. We had one kind of near us, and then they closed down after a few years because it wasn't nearly.
They targeted it.
They did target the Target that we were at, so we can't relate necessarily.
It was too woke. Okay, go woke and go broke. Okay, that's how it is.
God.
But yeah, this is one of the stupidest culture war backlash things. Is like people posting these videos of them like, look, I'm in Walmart here.
Look at this.
It's fucking Satanist demons putting their flags and everything.
And then it's like one aisle end display, and then the rest of it's fucking normal.
With a shirt that says "Love is love" or whatever, and like, but it's a kid's shirt, okay?
Yeah.
Isn't this inappropriate for? But it's like the whole point is so that kids don't feel bad about being gay.
Exactly.
Like that's the whole point of Pride. Like
they're not trying to change them; they're trying to accommodate and make people feel better for who they actually are.
I mean that's where we side. That's where we side on this whole culture war issue. If in case you're wondering, like
if it was possible to change somebody's sexuality, you could like let me do it right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and also,
boom.
Yeah,
you're gay.
Yeah, guess what? I'm gay now, boy.
I saw one rainbow flag. Boom.
Yeah. Also,
it's over.
Yeah, like, if you grew up around only heterosexual people, but you still turn out gay, that just proves that it's like your environment does not change that.
I mean, I watched American Idol with my sister, and look at me, straight as an arrow.
I
don't know. But no, it's like...
So the song itself...
The song is kind of catchy, though, because, like... And it's funny because, like, I like being taken into the world, like, the fantasy world of, like, angry conservative guys and, like, what their fears and what their anxieties are about the world, and like, all the CEOs got together and they all decided, let's make your kids gay.
The chorus is kind of catchy, unfortunately, but the music video is super funny. Just seeing it's all a bunch of just fat dudes. One that kind of looks like 6ix9ine. One kind of looks like Lil Durk.
Fat 6ix9ine. What would that be, like 71 or something?
Yeah, 690. I don't know.
Yeah, 690 pounds. Yeah, I don't know. That's a decent joke, right?
Yeah.
Quality content.
We're trying out here. It's Monday night.
The funniest part is like at the end of the song, like they have like a singer that comes in.
Yeah,
kind of sounds like James Blake, like discount James Blake, and he's like, "They're targeting our kids."
Yeah.
And all the music video is taking place in a Target, which is perfect PR. This is like perfect free advertising.
Yeah, all in front of a Target, in the Target. It's like,
they're in the Target, watching the video. It's like, oh shit, they got fucking... That reminds me, you gotta go to Target to pick up some shit.
Because, even if some right wings see this video, and like, let's go to Target and do like a TikTok or whatever, us singing the song in public or whatever, they might fucking buy a bag of chips while they're there, though. So at the end of the day, it's not,
I know, and you can't... Boycotts just don't work.
Yeah.
And there was also a shot where he's like holding up the Bud Light thing because like,
a bunch of Bud Lights, because
the whole Bud Light's controversy. That's the other stupid culture war thing where a corporation
which I don't even think we've got like the specialty cans of Bud Light. And do we get those in Canada?
I would like to have some, but then again, I don't
even like Bud Lights.
I don't like light beer. Isn't that kind of like? Isn't it kind of little? No, I'm just joking. But like, it's also funny, like just the kind of creepiness of certain lyrics where it's like something about like, oh, we need to wash it in the blood of Christ.
Yeah,
like
I heard that.
God needs to get his revenge. Like, okay, guys, you realize like people are gonna hear this and go in there with guns and like.
This is literally cult activity. Like, you like listen to yourself. You sound fucking insane. Like.
Dude, if before this podcast drops, there's a horrible mass shooting thing and like at a Target or something, then
we gotta cancel this whole.
We might cut this whole segment, but
we'll see.
If that does happen, we'll just do a little freeze frame of us, like, saying, like, to the victims, you know, we're sorry. In case there's victims in the future.
Yeah, fair play.
Covering
That's a vet podcast move right there from Alex here.
We have had it on podcast episodes before where I made fun of somebody and then something tragic happened later on and we had to be cut away. So, it's happened before. But
it will probably happen again.
Let's hope it doesn't happen this time.
The odds are.
Fingers crossed. Nobody dies or nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
And that's all we can do as white men. Is cross our fingers.
So while we're getting through some more bullshit news items before we get to our album reviews, which we do have quite a full plate.
We got, just as a little precursor, we got Kaytranada album review coming up, Conway the Machine. I have some thoughts on IDK, a bunch of new singles from Kendrick Lamar, Baby Keem.
The Metro Boomin Spider-Verse
album. Few bunch of other stuff. Check out the description below to see all the other stuff that we talk about. And if you want to click ahead to that, feel free. But I don't think you're going to want to, because the next segment's it's a doozy. It's a spiral. Conspiracy theory spiral. And I'll start it off as the resident island boy of the podcast. The island boys themselves have been outed, according to 6Buzz TV, to be
exclusive.
There was a picture of them with Jeffrey Epstein on the island. So is that the island in question? I'll find out at 9 tonight.
Remember the
everyone get their jokes off.
Remember the Island Boys?
Yeah. Okay, so what? All right.
Island Boys.
Was that a product of coronavirus? Was that like a 2020 thing where it was just like a random thing that happened and everyone was into it for like a few weeks and then disappeared?
I remember at least seeing like the clip of the Island Boys, like their like 2 months of fame, and then like they went on stage in like Miami at some strip club or whatever, and just basically got booed off stage because they have one song. It's a freestyle. They haven't even really turned it into a song.
Okay, so I'm on the website Cameo where you can order cameos from certain people. We can get a personal Island Boy message curated to the Rapcast for $268.
That's kind of steep.
I know.
I would expect worse from the Island Boys, but I guess there's a high demand out there. Who's your favorite Island Boy? Fly Soulja?
Yeah, who's the other
one?
Or
Kodiak Red?
Oh yeah, Kodiak Red is Fly Soulja. I'm a Fly Soulja guy.
Yeah,
but you knew that. You knew that about me.
I know.
That's just the way I carry myself.
I'm pretty sure like Kodak Black was seen with the two of them at one point.
I'm not surprised. Okay, so what if instead of... So, because I know, Josh, you're not a big fan of Kodak being on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. What if it was Island Boys instead?
That would be somehow worse.
Yeah, even though they don't have any allegations as far as we know. If anything, they have gotten touched themselves. But it's not true. It's probably all bullshit.
I don't know. Clickbait. I mean, when I saw...
That would be...
When I saw the academics post where it was the Island Boys reacting to the Epstein...
Okay. I didn't see that.
Epstein allegations, they were not very convincing. Let's just say they were very like.
Are they convincing in anything they do? You know.
Yeah, like, it's. I mean, just watching the two of them like try to put a thought together, like as they speak, is
like
just
watching
like,
two toddlers.
Let me see one of these cameos here and see what they sound like here.
It's the same thing.
Island Boys.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Also, SuperFinger cameo page.
Let's do it.
What's gonna be our starting rate? A vape pen.
Yeah, how much is a vape pen nowadays?
If you send me a vape pen with like a
cartridge
a gram, a gram of.
I'll send you a video of smoking it.
Yeah.
It's like thanks, and then it's just like 5 seconds.
Thanks, and also happy birthday to your grandma.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I would love to be some random person's grandma's like last viewing pleasures, you know. Just, happy birthday, grandma! Fucking passes away right after.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty profound.
Man, to be doing cameos right till the bitter end, and like you're on your deathbed and you're like,
shout out Jason who has a big basketball game coming up. Can't even fucking raise your arm.
That's gonna be fucking P. Diddy. When all things are said and done.
No, he'll be in jail for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Stay woke.
I was watching.
Jay-Z is in the Illuminati.
I was literally watching Hip Hop Evolution, like the.
Yeah, that's an update. Josh has been studying up.
I'm on season 3. Second episode of season 3, where they just introduced where Jay-Z first got his rise to fame.
Did they already wrap up the Tupac Biggie deaths?
They did that in the first episode of the 3rd season.
There's actually a pretty strong argument to be made that, like, a conspiracy that I generally do believe in, that, like, hip-hop was headed in a different direction in the 80s, where it was a lot more about, the community and, like, values and religion and revolutionary ideas. And then
100%.
There was definitely, on some CIA document, hey, let's put more money into the gangster rappers and the completely materialistic rappers in order to control that part of the culture, because it was something that was seen as potentially threatening to the status quo.
For sure.
Yeah, that's funny because in the documentary they pointed out, like, Tupac, like, the first half of Tupac's career was about him being a revolutionary because he's the son of of one of the lead Black Panthers.
Yeah.
He was about this revolutionary shit and supporting supporting women and abortion rights and very very feminist kind of ideals. And then once he got shot the first time with the whole bit, he started accusing Biggie of setting him up and shit. All that shit was it completely according to the people who watched him, it completely changed.
Didn't he kind of a menace and super materialistic and
he became kind of a menace. Became super jaded and bitter because he got shot and then immediately went to jail on in a rape case, and he was just seething in that prison cell. And then when he came out, he became he was totally changed. He was super bitter and
Yep, there's something to be said about that for sure. I mean, go watch any countless documentaries and podcasts that have talked about the actual.
But it's one of those things. It's hard to understand. It's hard to understand how do these conspiracies function. It's just about certain things getting amplified over other things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that every single rapper is on the fucking FBI's payroll or whatever. But it's just about the cultural fucking big media, big government things, but. That's way too academic for this podcast.
Maybe eventually we'll get into it.
I'd
be more well read on
Island Boys, Epstein, stay woke.
That's all we have to say about that.
Yeah, I do have a couple of albums that I need to listen to brush up on my history on hip hop and shit. So there's
there's still plenty.
Public Enemy and
Public Enemy freaking slaps
and Wu-Tang and Tribe Called Quest and shit stuff I gotta do my homework.
I was telling Josh this. I listened to the Low End Theory because that's apparently a classic album or whatever. I listened to it last year, I think, or maybe it was earlier this year, and I'm it's for the time I understand why it was so big because Josh was saying when we were talking about it
wait, what's Low End Theory again?
Low End Theory.
It was the one of their albums that was huge.
It was the album for Tribe Called Quest with
right.
Q-Tip and all those guys.
And
I've heard a couple of their jams. They did the For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield sample song.
Yeah. The sample
and they kind of started the whole wave of jazz rap kind of thing. So I understand their impact, but listening to it now in 2023 kind of just didn't click to me. A lot of 90s stuff doesn't quite.
There's a lot of conscious rap from the 90s that's just
it just hasn't aged the best because it's been done so much.
But it's also they're too actively trying to be not like the other guy, not like the gangster rappers. I'm the real, but they tried a little bit too. There's too much, pretentiousness going on, and Common has a lot of kind of corny songs that if you go back to, but my rhymes are sick.
When was the last time you rhymed?
It's been a minute.
Genuine question.
We gotta get back on that.
Yo, it's Mom's spaghetti. Knees weak,
right,
arms heavy, involving on my sweater already. While we're on the topic of Frank Sinatra, the other day I was listening to my favorite song by him, That's Life.
Yeah, classic.
That's a great song.
And the lyrics of you're riding high in April, shot down in May. And then, but I'll change that tune when I get back in June or whatever. And I was like, dude, like Frank Sinatra knows what's going on in my life because like I literally got fired at the end of April, was unemployed the whole month of May, and just got this new job like last week. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Sometimes it do be like
sometimes that's life.
Sometimes
that is life.
Yeah.
That's what all the people say.
We're saying it here.
So shout out Frank. I know you're in heaven or hell somewhere right now, looking up or down at me, saying, "Yeah, Alex, I fucking knew what was going on. I knew it was."
Predicted it.
But yeah, just the synchronicities in life, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They out here. They
sometimes they do hit like that. It's crazy. Like there's like you're listening to a song and all of a sudden it just comes around full circle, it completely captures your current moment.
Yeah,
I live for those moments.
Speaking of synchronicities, I had one when I went to the Ab-Soul show in Toronto the other day on Friday night.
Transition.
I'll get into the concert in a sec, but they played a bunch of deep cuts as like the opening, not the opening DJ, but like just whatever, like the bar just has songs playing beforehand, and they had played Curls by MF Doom from Mad Villainy. I'm like, that's sick. And on my way home, I was walking by like a fucking chicken shop or whatever, and they also were playing Curls by MF Doom. I'm like, that's kind of I don't know what that means necessarily, but maybe I should listen to more MF Doom.
Yeah, that's what the world's telling you.
But yeah,
you could have to listen to more of that shit.
Yeah.
I got food over there. Do you have
the vinyl or the CD?
The CD that
I've heard of Food and Mad Villainy. I need to branch out.
But it comes with a documentary.
Oh, cool.
So we can watch that later.
But yeah, I went to this Ab-Soul show on Friday. I went solo to it. It was fitting, and like I know you fuck with Ab-Soul, but like you've only really heard Herbert. But I mean, you would have enjoyed the show probably because it was mainly Herbert songs. There was a handful of older tracks, but the deep cuts didn't go like too deep. But let me set the stage. Friday night, it was a nice day. I was wearing shorts, t-shirt, or whatever. It started pouring fucking rain like right before the show, and I had to like run from I don't know where I was. Like again, some chicken place or whatever. I was getting something to eat, so I just had to book into the show. It was soaking wet. I bought joints beforehand, and I completely forgot to like either put them in my shoe or like what I ended up doing when I got in the show was putting them in my sunglasses case or whatever that I had.
Right.
But I completely forgot to do that before the show, and they were patting me down, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm screwed. They're just gonna throw. I mean, it's not a big deal, but like they're just gonna throw out my thing. But then they didn't really fully pat me down all the way. Like they patted me down, but they didn't take anything out of my pocket. So like, you're good. And I'm like, oh, I could easily have a.
They're just making sure
tiny
you have a gun.
Yeah, a tiny fucking little gun, like
a little James Bond gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I got there at like 7. Doors open at 7. I got there like 7:15.
What was the venue?
Adelaide Hall, which is pretty much like a bar. Like it was. I'll have pictures and visual stuff, and I'll cut in like certain moments from the concert in this episode. So if you want to be able to see stuff, check out the YouTube video of this podcast. Adelaide Hall. I saw Denzel Curry there with my old roommate Hayden. Shout out Hayden. Years back, and it was fantastic. If anyone out there is in Toronto, and I know you guys, I don't think have been to a show there, I recommend going, especially if it's for a smaller act, because like going to a show where it's that
an intimate set.
Yeah, very intimate for sure. I was super close, which was great. Yeah, I got there. There was a handful of people that were already there, but like not that many. A bunch of other people were there on their own. I thought, from what I could tell,
a lot of people who were like they couldn't convince their girlfriend.
Exactly,
their girlfriend was like,
well, yeah, there were probably only like 6 or 7 girls that were there, like not with their significant other, like just like because they fuck with
just Ab-Soul fans.
Yeah, but there were also like to the left of me, like I'm looking at the stage to the left of me, kind of like near like a kind of more of a sit down spot. There were these 2 girls that seemed like they were just like any sort of club girls or whatever. I'm like, did you guys realize that Ab-Soul wasn't like? Because I have that theory. Because when we went to see Earl Sweatshirt, we've seen him a few times now. But I think the first time the 3 of us all went to see him after the Some Rap Songs tour, there were a bunch of girls there. I don't know if you guys remember that were like dressed up like to the nines, or like dressed like they were going to go clubbing, and they went to the Earl Sweatshirt show. I'm like,
I mean, you don't know that you're profiling them. You don't know that they're not Earl Sweatshirt fans,
and it could be.
But maybe they were just there trying to find nerdy white boys.
That's the thing as well. I'm not sure. And also, like
were we preyed upon potentially?
The opening guy, Fresh. Shout out Fresh. There was the opener was the guy who was on the Gang of Them song.
Nice.
He was wearing a sick Raptors jersey. Super charismatic guy. Super funny. Was talking with the crowd the whole time, roasting people, saying you musty, you broke type shit. Had some girl get him a drink.
Nice.
But annoying thing about it was that for merch there was only 2 shirts. Nothing. It was just 2 shirts, and it was cash only.
Wait, only 2 in quantity, or 2 styles?
2 styles of white and black, the same style. Yeah. $60. Something. It's a little steep, but I don't have any sort of Absol merchandise, CDs, vinyls, or anything. So I was gonna get it.
It would be pretty rare to have.
But I only had $40, and there was the rest of the place was cashless, and the merch was only cash, and the ATM they had in the thing didn't work, and I didn't want to go run out in the pouring rain to get more cash, so I just said fuck it.
Of course, you went and tried the ATM.
Yeah, no, I did the whole thing.
Sat there and went like.
I asked the bartender, I was like, "Can I get cash back on my Visa card because I have cash back? Like, can I get some cash back from you guys? Like, no, we're cashless." I'm like, "Fuck." But whatever. But yeah, like the opening guy, Fresh, he called out the 2 girls. Like, he was like, everyone raised their hands in the air. And the 2 girls that I was talking about before weren't having their hands raised, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're not. Are they woke like that? Are they with hip hop? Do they understand what this is about to be?
You're saying these girls were so stupid they couldn't even understand raise your hand?
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
The misogyny in this podcast.
Also,
Pride Month of all months.
Unprecedented.
I'm prideful of myself. Okay,
they could have been LGBTQ folks.
That's
okay,
true.
And you were not being accommodating to them.
I wasn't being accommodating to anyone. I would not let anyone get in front of me until I kind of got pushed back at one point. And like these kind of like frat kind of white dudes who were too drunk to enjoy the show, I think, were out in front of me, singing the N-words, the whole 9 yards.
Despicable.
A bit annoying, for sure. I have a whole thing written down here of most of my thoughts. Yeah, it was probably about an hour of just standing around doing jack shit. I was talking a little bit to people, just generally about, have you seen Absol before? Have you been in this venue type shit?
Yeah, it is always interesting to get a view of what the crowd is like at different rappers' shows and stuff. Because, I mean, for one, like, Absol is a smaller artist, so you would expect, like, the people who do show up are, like, committed fans.
A lot of them had pre-existing Absol merch.
Yeah.
There were some people with Kendrick merch, Schoolboy Q merch, or whatever, which I thought was always a little bit weird to wear other artists' merch to a show that isn't for that artist. You know what I'm saying?
If it's TDE, I feel like
it's TDE is fun.
Okay.
I was wearing my Mac shirt, but I didn't really think. I just threw something on. I didn't really think about it.
Yeah. I mean, they were
tight. So I mean,
friends,
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah,
a lot of shout out Dough Burgers, or R.I.P. Dough Burger, because that was like one of his best buddies that OD'd not too long after Mac, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
To finish wrapping up this Fresh guy's story, it's a sick act. Check out his music, new album coming out this summer. But he said during the thing that people kept trying to hand him like drinks or whatever, and he was like, "I've never actually had a beer before." He picked up someone's like Bud Light or some shit.
Are you kidding me?
He was like, "Yeah, I've never had like a beer," and he was like, "I'm trying to shotgun my first beer though." So he handed the shit back, and then later on, like during Absol's set, Fresh came into the crowd, like pretty much right in front of me, and shotgunned a beer.
Everybody know, wrestling with the pleasure last few years. With a therapy and I shed a few tears. Call Stephen Johnson, 10 years old. I survived, but I'm still going blind low. I ain't toxic, need no cornea. I'd rather need those in the corner.
And everyone went around and was cheering and shit.
Because you had some pretty interesting footage on the SuperFinger Instagram page. Check that out.
Yeah, and he also reposted it on his story, so that's pretty sick.
So we're famous.
They got some new followers.
TDE world.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So the Absol set was
the actual Absol. So yeah, he comes on. DJ does his thing a little bit in between Fresh and Absol. Starts off with "Message in a Bottle," the intro track off Herbert.
We're trying to fulfill prophecy properly. Sprinkle frontal on top of the broccoli. Getting high as we possibly can. I'm more than a man. That's why I left these hoes in my hands. Hell yeah, I'm still myself. The soul is a spirit floating in the lyrics. Guess I ghost wrote it myself. I don't hear what I'm saying, man. Hey, what's up? Hey, Toronto, make some motherfucking noise. This message in the bottle ain't gonna open itself.
Does a bunch of other Herbert songs right away, but the only thing is, like, it's the first show of the tour, and it's the first time he's like headlined a tour since, like, it's been like 6 or 7 years since he's done like a proper tour and shit.
Right.
So he had a bet with his DJ, like which one of them would fuck up more or whatever, and immediately, or not immediately, but when they played Hollandaise, which was I think the second track, there's that beat switch in it, and the DJ missed the beat switch completely, and Absol had to stop the shit. It's like, you fucked up that one or whatever. But they were cool with it. But then Absol, there's a few bars maybe he didn't quite grab, or like there was a few times he fucked up, but being like, because they had a certain set list, and Absol like is asking the fans like, let's throw it back. What songs do you want to hear? Like, what's some old stuff? And then he realized like, oh shit, no, we got to play more Herbert stuff right quick before that, I guess.
Right.
So I think it is a pretty set list. There was like 3 or 4 songs from Control System, which is his OG album. That's to me a classic. Only 1 song off of the Do Without Wilt album, which is kind of disappointing because I really like that album, and no songs from These Days. But there was no really hits on that one from what I can remember. But he brought up a fan who was one of the guys I was talking to a little bit beforehand, who was there like super early to rap one of his songs, and he fucked it up like a little bit, but like for the most part he was dope.
I swear it never happened. I thought I got your outlet. I was broke, I got your outlet. What we doing? Spinning rules like the cats. I don't even know what's real. I'm just being real. Play a fool. You just play a fool. Play a fool. You just a real cook. Play a fool. Started. I must call this guy. But tools. Buying fools. This is Cooper. This ain't Buddha.
What else? Yeah, standout moments would be Do Better. Yeah, I got like chills when he was doing that one. Some great lines on that. Got me feeling ways.
I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta do everything in my power to try to do, I gotta do. Ride the tide, don't fight with the current that got at you. Melt the ice, round the furnace burning inside of you. Gotta do better, gotta do better, I gotta do better. There's nothing they can do that I can't do better. But yet there's nothing I can do that I can't do better. Toronto, I'm better. I said I'm better, gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta.
Terrorist Threats with Danny Brown. He did Danny Brown's verse as well, which was crazy. It Be Like That was great.
Did he do the Danny Brown voice?
No, but it would be funny.
For the gangs in the world, we said it's against the military tonight. Go! So we said it's against the military tonight. Go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Them AK clips, they smoking on some of that. Extra kill. Purple, purple. Natural. Put that on. If we could link up, and niggas is willing up, we put the White House lights out too. We mother like we the black KKK. Don't forget my AKA, Medicaid. Or you be HD, or you AA. My name was up. The time's almost up. You're right to the pub thing, like it ain't down, and I just love it, Hey, I don't give a damn, nigga.
Fuck On My Face was a big one. Gotta Rap, Church on the Move, Hollandaise. And he also came out like, you know, he has I don't know, I can't remember what the actual disease is called, but like he, as a kid, you know, he can't really see very well out of his eyes, very sensitive to light or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And he talked about on the Herbert album, like, doctor says I need new corneas, I would rather have that than a corner or whatever. But then he gets out there and he's pretty much like, yeah, guys, I'm like pretty much blind, like, so make sure, like, he was dapping up everyone in the front low, was like, if I fall, make sure you got me type shit. And there's a few times where he almost fell. So I think dude is like actually like very hard, very visually impaired. Which was crazy to see, because like you hear it about in the raps, but once you actually see it in person, this person that I've been listening to for so many years actually have to deal with this thing. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. It all puts it into perspective a little bit.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he was talking with fans about shit, you know, a few messages of, you know, like, do better, that's my mantra, or whatever, you just gotta, you know, focus on yourself type shit. And like I said, like, yeah, there's a few bars he might have missed up, but, like, I don't think he missed much of a step, overall. Great show, I recommend. He's going on tour now. I think he just had a Detroit show last night, so check him out if you liked Herbert, because that was mostly Herbert stuff. So go check him out on tour. I don't know how long it's going for, but I recommend going. It's $40 for the tickets, at least in Toronto, so... the only other thing that I want to say is, on the way out, there's a club like right near it, and it was funny just seeing like this one guy go up to his group of friends who were going in the club, being like, I couldn't get in. They say my pants were too whack or whatever. Like, he was really pissed about it. Like, I have to go home and change and shit. And I'm like, oh damn, that guy's not having a good night.
What kind of pants was he wearing?
I looked over, just dark pants. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Certain dress code. I don't know.
Damn, he could tell they were from Walmart. The bouncer.
Yeah, probably sold the fucking tag on it. The guy. But yeah, shout out Solo Ho, Black Lip Bastard, Abstract Asshole, all that good stuff. I was thinking
people were pretty drunk. Did you? You didn't get too fucked up?
No, I got. I also brought my vape in, so I don't even really know why I bought the joints, because I'm like, just in case the vape doesn't work out or whatever. But I had a beer beforehand, and I took a bunch of vape hits when the crowd was like more around me, so I didn't get fucking pulled away or whatever. Escorted or steal my cart or whatever, my cartridge. I wasn't that fucked up. I knew it was over at like 10, and I was like trying to get like some like beforehand, like trying to get like Anthony or like Shraj or Darren, some of my buddies, to come out afterwards or whatever, or like beforehand. But like it was kind of chill, just like not just going home in like a decent time instead, instead of like staying.
Wow, responsible. Just getting some sleep.
Well, I still probably didn't fucking go to sleep till super late, but whatever.
Because you were so buzzing.
I was buzzing.
Wow. I feel like they don't really smoke weed at concerts the way they did when I was a kid, It's kind of over for that.
No, there were definitely, before I started smoking, I did smell a bunch of shit, and he was, I don't know if it was Fresh or Absol, I can't remember. One of them was like, yeah, if you got your joints light, or no, Absol was like, don't light your joint for this one. I want to be real about, I can't remember, it was for the Herbert song, the self-titled song. And then like in the middle of it, he was like, I see you didn't take out your joint, and you didn't put down your joint like I told you to, type shit, because someone was still trying to smoke. So there's plenty of people smoking, it depends on the venue, If it's outdoors, you're fucking good. Yeah. The one, obviously, because you went to see Hosier with your girl a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And that was at...
Concert review.
That was at Massey... Or where was that? Danforth?
That was at the Danforth Music Hall.
And that's when we saw Brockhampton years ago, when Amir was still there.
Yeah.
And they didn't let us smoke. They were security walking around the whole time, like...
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anyone smoking weed at the Hosier show.
I mean, yeah.
It was mostly girls,
mostly crying. Yeah, probably.
It was a cool show, though. Shout out Dahlia, my girlfriend.
Did he bring out Drake or something?
He brought out... He brought out the fucking president of Ireland. I don't know. I can't think of like any Irish an Irish rapper. Yeah, he brought out Everlast from fucking House of Pain.
Okay, deep cut reference that I went over my head.
The song "Jump Around."
Yes. I gotta watch more hip hop
references. Come on, Josh probably knows that one.
No, I don't.
Give us the whole House of Pain breakdown.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We're gonna abuse your knowledge now that you have it.
I've watched it. I'm not even through the whole series, and you're already asking me shit.
While we're talking about concert experience reviews, one of the funniest things about the Hosier show was like we were up in the balcony and like seated like kind of far back, and I'm sitting there and I'm noticing like I felt like somebody was like flicking water at my head or something, and I was like really like looking behind me like
a drink, too drunk or whatever.
Yeah, like who? Because like everyone was completely calm and like it wasn't like a rowdy show.
No hands up or anything, just like sit and listen to the music type vibe.
I mean, no, there were like it got people got into it and everything, but it's not the type of show where you would get like a beer spilled on you or anything. Over time, I started to realize that I think it was the vent above me that was quietly dripping water on my head throughout the whole concert. Yeah. Luckily, I had my hat, but like, it was kind of like Chinese water torture or whatever. And like, I was a trooper about it. Like, I did a little bit of complaining, but then as soon as I realized that I'm out of rope with complaining, it's like, all right, now if I say something more about it, she's just gonna be like, "Oh, you're obsessed." Like, then just go. Then or like. Yeah.
Well, didn't you also say there was someone else that you thought might have also been under a vent and complained to someone about it?
Yeah, there was another couple that, like, I saw the girl like kind of being like talking to the guy like, we have to like do something about this or whatever, like, and the two of them, they walked up and they went and talked to the security guy, and then they kind of just lingered around in the corner at the front of the balcony and for the rest of the show, never went back to their seats. So it's one of those things like, I guess if a vent is dripping water on you in a show, you gotta just plug it out.
Can't say I've been through that. Yeah,
It wasn't that bad. I've
never had anything inconvenient ever happen to me, so I can't really relate, unfortunately. Been a pretty.
I would just call my father, and he would have everyone fired.
That might be the vibe the shirt's giving off, unfortunately, but here we are.
Yeah.
We're 45 minutes in. We're at a good pace here. Do we get into new music? Is there any other little life updates or things we want to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to say that the Hozier concert was pretty great.
Yeah.
He put out a bunch of new songs this year. This one called All Things End, which I really liked. It's sort of more a bit Rapcast centric because it's more of like an R&B, like old school kind of gospel tune. Right. But I mean, he played Take Me to Church and like people went crazy at that one. And that was the point when I realized like, oh yeah, like that song's about like being gay. Like there's lots of like everyone getting really into it because it's like that song was like really important, like political
the music
message.
video as well.
But I even forgot about that whole thing until I was listening to it, and I was like, Hozier is kind of tight. Like he's done a lot of good things, like with his activism and everything. Yeah. And all right, we've been talking about bullshit for long enough. I was thinking to get into music reviews, let's start with a light one. Let's start with a fun one. Summertime, Summer's On, Kaytranada.
They don't need no DJ. We've all heard it here, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amine, one of our first album reviews was
Limbo.
Limbo,
2020, I believe.
And I was never that into Amine. I think you're a little bit more of an Amine head than me,
and Josh as well.
I would say that I really liked Limbo, but I haven't I'm not crazy about the rest stuff. I love Blackjack though. Like that song is fantastic. But
I'll say this as my opening thought is that like I liked the album like aesthetically and
it's a vibe.
But I just felt like it was a little bit lacking at the same time.
It
didn't quite fill me up, but it gave me a lot of songs that could go on playlists that would give me good sensations.
I think that was their plan, but also like the first time I listened to it, I was a little bit disappointed because like the songs are like pretty short and like they advertise it as like album of the summer, all summer jams or whatever, and like that's not really the case for every single song.
Now it didn't like scream summer, but like there are definitely some tracks that would fit perfectly onto. It felt like playlist fodder for me a lot. Like it wasn't fully like developed idea, but. You know, it's a collaborative album with him and Kaytranada, so that's kind of what they were working with, you know. So you can't expect the same content level as somebody's fully fledged independent album,
which got me thinking as well, like because Amine tends to be doing this thing where he put out the Good For You album, then he put out the 1.5, then he put out Limbo, then he put out 2.5. Does this count as his next big album, or is this kind of another half one?
That's what I was thinking.
We remain to see. We'll see. But it just because like even like lyrically, there isn't anything like too deep or really like he has some bars and stuff, but like it's just not that. You don't have to think about it. It's almost like if Honestly Nevermind was done a lot better, you know, where it's like vibey kind of dance almost music, but like a lot better content, a lot of better rapping.
Like, I like the ethos and the overall energy of it. And it's an enjoyable listen.
You good? Pause.
Nikki, what did you think of
Rapcast pause. If you want to see a dog, watch our YouTube.
For me, like, all the songs, they kind of, like, lyrically, they're all kind of the same. They're kind of, like, I find him repeating himself a lot. Whereas this, you know, it's like, hey, it's me and Kaytranada, and I'm stealing guys' girlfriends, and I'm smoking weed, and I'm drinking. That's basically.
I mean, there's certain ones that have a little more theme to it, like the.
I don't have a problem with that really, but it's just like I guess there wasn't as many like, all right, this is a song about an interesting topic or an interesting story.
The closest we get is Sauce It Up or whatever, however you want to pronounce it, because that was pretty much just like a sex jam or like just a romance song. And speaking of, he's a bit of a fucking horny toad on this album.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, hold on a second. Repeat that phrase for me.
Bit of a horny toad.
All right, I've never heard that before.
That's a Joe Budden podcast classic to me when I used to listen. JB used to say that.
Are toads known for their horniness?
Who knows?
I know that the frog. I know that frogs are gay, but I didn't.
Yeah, he's at
frogs.
least a little bit oversexed.
Frogs are get the fuck out of here.
I mean, it's the meme.
I know.
Yeah, dude, it's Pride Month.
Yeah, come on. Not all frogs are gay. I'm gonna have that fucking decal. You should put that decal on your car.
Not that there's anything wrong with gay frogs.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But there's something wrong with, how much sex this man is having.
Because in the first song, Who He Is, he says, and I take issue with this, I'm one of the few men who knows where the clit is. I'm one of the few men who knows how to make you finish. Not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's fucking right. It's kind of fucking staring at you right in the face. I don't know.
It's really not that hard.
Question.
I know.
Yeah.
What is a pussy? Look, I might need to listen to Amine to get some
You might have to.
instructions.
He's an expert.
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit higher up there, lower than the actual
Lower
vagina
than the-
part.
than the
It's usually
hole,
up
and
there, and you kind of just give a little.
We sound like fools and look like it too,
Look.
I'm sure.
Look, sex haver here.
Yeah.
I can confirm that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I thought it was an okay bar. Whatever. Like,
I mean, it's kind of cheeky, but it's
funny.
also like one of the few men who knows. I feel like it's not that hard, and especially in this day and age. But who knows? Maybe there are.
You'd be surprised.
Let us know in the comments if you know where the clit is.
And can you tell us where it is? Can you point us in its specific
because
direction?
I'm lost.
Yeah.
Can you give us a Google Maps location?
Yeah.
You fucking you take out your phone and put your flashlight on. Like, hold on a second.
I'm
Gotta
looking
examine
for it.
this. Yeah.
Is it under the couch? Where is it?
Yeah, it's a mysterious thing, the female body, but I've
been explained it many times, and I can't label it. My girlfriend actually one time sent me like a diagram with fill in the blanks, like I'm in fucking school, and she's like, "I'm curious to where you would put this some shit."
If you fail the test, I'm breaking up.
I was
with you.
right for a few of them that she was surprised with, but first song it starts off pretty well.
But I like the first 3 tracks. I thought it started off really
me too.
really dope.
For me, the production carries the album.
For the most, because whenever it misses, it's mainly because of production. For the most part, there's a few. Amine slides on a lot of the tracks, but again, nothing too in depth or topical.
The lyrics are very surface level. There's no deeper. I didn't find that
there's a couple funny jokes.
He's definitely a joker.
There's bars for sure,
there's
but
definitely bars, and he's definitely a joker. But I didn't find the lyrics to be too deep.
But also Amine isn't the deepest guy either at the same time. But Limbo had a little bit more depth to it, and just more focused songs, topical songs, more variety.
That's what I was hoping for with not another Limbo, but sort of effort in the lyrics that are sort of deeper, and have specific sort of more interesting themes and things like that. But again, it's just it's a summer.
It's a mixtapey kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
What
do you think about the Freddie Gibbs feature on Let's Talk About It?
Yeah, more horny toad action for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the two of them have a good chemistry on that.
Track. I think
it's
it's cool to see Freddie Gibbs on a different kind of production, than we might be used to.
Yeah, he's
kind of more groovy.
Now, the Freddie Gibbs is kind of in his victory lap era of his career, where it's kind
of do whatever he wants. He
might not
even pinatas.
He's made the he might not even put out a new album in the near future. He's just kind of doing features here and there. I thought that one was not super remarkable or anything, but it's an early favorite of mine out of all the tracks.
Yeah, I agree with that. Forever we've talked about. I want to point everyone in the class to the line. You're talking about your mama, but you're thinking about my dick. Another kind of off the wall, horny bar, which is a little bit strange.
No comment.
And then he also says here, fire or trash. This bar here, hit it with the rhythm, call it pussy percussion.
Fire.
If it was, if the whole entire song wasn't basically like that, I would say fire. But
the second verse is a lot of the sex bars, but no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but a lot of the album is based around sex, and I'm like, come on, that's the best you got.
Surprise Bo Burnham feature on this album. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He rapped the whole alphabet.
A, B.
He would rap though. Yeah, Bo Burnham would rap
in some kind of third degree fucking
triple meaning,
triple chess math.
Yeah.
West Side was one of my favorites as far as the sound of it.
Yeah, I like the strings a lot. I think the verses are dope, but it, to me, again, doesn't quite stand out, you know? But
I think it's just a solid song. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't analyze it too hard, really.
Yeah.
But I like the
that's
kind
my
of...
problem with it, as I analyzed it too much. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like... They use kind of like almost Hindu music, like music from like some Bollywood movie, kind of that's what it gives me the vibe of.
Yeah. I can see
Like, Kaytranada does like pull from a lot of different interesting influences in his beats.
This album would have been a lot worse, like, because if production wasn't as varied as it is, like, it's tough because Kaytranada, from my limited knowledge of him, has a very specific sound of like kind of dancey, groovy, kind of like bouncy, almost nightclub type music, but also infused with hip hop shit.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse if it was just kind of that same kind of structure over and over, but like he definitely has... He's trying some different stuff on some of these songs, pulling from different samples and shit like that.
But speaking of beats, like, I didn't really like the beat of the next song, Master P, with featuring
I thought it was a
Big
cool
Sean,
sample, but
Big
it was
Sean.
a little bit repetitive, maybe, the beat, but...
Just sounded off to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate there was like a bridge at the end of the song where he kind of switched it up and did like a little...
Yeah.
I like that.
I like those little, for sure. Little touches.
Yeah. Okay, so as the newfound resident Big Sean hater, what'd you think of his verse on this?
It did not really... Nothing really grabbed me from his verse.
Yeah.
The thing that I found funny to me was that, like, my homie was just in jail, and I'm like, I can relate, because my life feels like a prison or some shit, and I'm like... That's some stupid.
You have a child with Jhene Aiko?
It's like you have.
Yeah,
like,
oh, man.
It's like, man, I was just in prison. That was so rough. Let's make it about me, though. I feel
Yeah.
like my life is kind of like a metaphorical prison. You know what I mean? Shut the fuck up.
I'm glad you... I wouldn't expect it. Of all the people that give some Big Sean hate, it's coming from Jay Pasty.
That's the line that sort of stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Well, let me toss him into the ring as well. One of the first bars he says is, he has the whole I'm a prophet, how could I not make a profit bar, and get rid of him. I've made the same mistake. I've written profit when I was 15 years old and thought that was the craziest shit ever. But like, if you're an experienced veteran rapper like Big Sean, you should know not to rap profit and profit, dog. Like, it's just
actually,
corny.
Daniel Caesar had a profit bar in the last album.
But didn't even...
You wouldn't have noticed because he's not a corny guy, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think the overall, like, the verse is decent, but it's not one of my favorite tracks. Not one of my favorite verses either.
The next track, Rebuke.
One of my faves.
I
to me.
like that one a lot.
This is like old school beat to relax/study to.
This is 100%. I was about to say this feels like a lo-fi hip hop chill hop.
And Rebuke is a song that like, this is what I kind of expected when they were rolling out the album, of like summery, kind of short and sweet songs. Like, this is kind of the vibe I got.
That's the type of one that I would just play, you know, if I was just scrolling through and taking songs out of nowhere, like just to give the. If I was doing a DJ set, I might throw that one in. Like,
to me, it could have been longer, even because I like it a lot. But like, it doesn't overstay its welcome at the same time. So
I like this one a lot. This might be one of my favorites.
Description of the next track, Salsa Up, is sex elevator.
Yeah,
interesting.
Like, it has elevator music thing, but he does all sex bars along, so you're just kind of picturing like somebody in a futuristic, like, James Bond movie, you know.
Yeah, I didn't quite peg that from the beat, but
go back and listen to it again then, and tell me that the word elevator doesn't come into your brain.
No, I guess I could see it. I just didn't put two and two together, but I think it's a solid song. It has kind of almost Spanish kind of rhythms, or like, I don't know what it is, just has that kind of sound to it.
Is that the one with what's her name?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Amare?
Yeah.
I like her verse quite a lot.
Her voice is funny. Her verse is really funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like
a lot of personality in her voice.
Or some shit like that. It's like that little ad-lib or whatever. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's keeps your focus for
I don't know.
sure.
I didn't really like that song that much. It was more background noise to me.
Alright, fair.
Okay,
totally
one of my favorite tracks on this album, though, is
Shut the Fuck Up 3.
Shut the Fuck Up 3.
I don't really like this one. I don't know. I think
his delivery is pretty funny. How he's like saying, stupid motherfucker, I don't really give. It's like
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
soft spoken, but he's always.
I don't mind either. I like
pussy, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I mean, I
that's
like
funny.
it.
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
I like the outlandish kind of weird voices that are like in the beat as well, kind of like creepy almost to an extent. I just don't think it necessarily fits with the rest of it to an extent.
The disembodied voices thing reminded me of something I go back to a lot. The SpongeBob episode where they go to the prehistoric time and then,
and
then they go into the future and like
their faces just
yeah.
Yeah.
That episode is just fucking seared into my brain.
That episode, that is 100% like a David Lynch / Stanley Kubrick kind of fever dream kind of episode.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna have a dream where I'm trapped in that episode or something.
Yeah.
good.
And Patrick is trying to touch me in my private parts.
What'd y'all think of? It is now, motherfucker.
And I also compared it to. I listened to the other two songs that he did,
but I didn't.
and it's better than the other two songs. I think.
I don't remember "Shut the Fuck Up" 1. I remember "Shut the Fuck Up" 2. I think it was on 1.5. I want to say.
Shut the Fuck Up 1
Was that on Good For You?
was the one that was like. It's like too kind of silly. It's too like shut the fuck up.
I don't remember that.
The second one he did was the one where it's like his friend talking and being like doing a whole monologue, which we thought was kind of corny.
That was on.
I remember we.
Wasn't it?
Hey man, say man, used to fight when I just really wish you. Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, this one's a little bit. It's a little bit out there.
It's a little too basement.
"Shut the Fuck Up" 2
Basement
was
raps.
on 1.5.
As for the rest of the album, I think there are some strong moments, but again, with our criticisms of it being sort of like lack of substance overall.
Is it's kind of repetitive, a little bit weak, but
it's to me that's annoying.
it's a little bit catchy, but also, it goes on for far too long.
The chorus is very annoying.
I like the production a lot on "I" with Snoop Dogg, like the very synth-heavy kind of almost 80s type of sound to it. Snoop Dogg verse is decent, but again, nothing too crazy. I think K&A, the final track, might be my favorite track on here, though, in terms of just like... Because it reminds me the most of other Amine shit. Like, and there's a
really
crazy beat, and it has the most bars on here, too.
He's rapping like a lot more convincingly on that one.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And he has bars of... there's that one bar, "Hoes used to play me, get the Michael B," which is, I think is a reference to what we talked about last week of the...
Yeah.
Of Michael B. Jordan, like, just... saying fuck you to the one reporter because they used to go to high school together and she curved him, I guess. And I like the bar as well. Bluetooth connected to 1,000 SUVs because I can relate. What can I say? And I put Halle Berry in my close friends. That's quite the flex. But yeah, sick flows, sick beat switches, cool samples, and jump later with it.
It's got a good message of like...
Rebuke still probably is my favorite, but K&A is up there as well.
Yeah, K&A has got a good message of like, you know, what was it? Like...
Do what you want, type shit.
No, but it was like, you know, don't do shit for validation, you know, like, if you're losing yourself, that's infatuation or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's got a good message, but also at the same time, there's a lot of, like, fuck these other rappers, man. You're all
yeah, there's always going to be a bit of that,
shit,
you know, but what are you going to do?
That's the note you want to end on? I don't know, like...
I thought he had some pretty funny fuck the haters kind of
they're definitely
bars,
funny, but like, it's like, that's the one.
The song
end it? I don't know.
has a kind of funny Jennifer Coolidge reference.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, I'm on a vacation.
Jennifer Coolidge.
What was that reference?
That's a White Lotus
That's
reference?
White Lotus.
Okay.
Which you
Shout
watched
out
that one
Crave
too,
TV.
as well, right?
Yeah, I'm a Crave boy now.
Oh, apparently there's a...
Which is what we call HBO in Canada.
Yeah. Apparently there's a Jay Dilla documentary on HBO.
Nice.
So I gotta check that out.
Also, watch Succession. I know the show is over, but I enjoyed it.
Cool.
And now we don't get to talk about it anymore at all.
Good. Sick of it on my Twitter feed, man. All this shit.
It is prevalent.
Yeah.
It's just getting to the point where it's annoying enough that it being canceled is kind of a good
Was
thing.
it canceled or did it just end? I feel like it was...
Or no, not
popular.
canceled, but like they wrapped up the whole story.
Yeah.
Let's... this one might be a bit of a... We might have some disagreements on, but let's talk about the new Conway the Machine album.
Okay.
Won't he do it?
He won't.
I think he will.
Okay.
I think he will continue to rap, and like he said in this album, and after this, I'm gonna put out another album, and then another album, and another one after that. So he's kind of on his maniacal genius,
a little bit of a
villain role.
Yeah.
I thought probably not as good as God Made Mistakes, but I think it was a very eclectic and challenging piece of music that kind of got into my skull a little bit more than, like, on first listen I was kind of like, I don't know, like, some of these songs don't really but I think some of the, like, production choices that he takes are kind of quite daring in a way, and
For sure.
he makes it work out of very, like, off the wall beats on certain songs. Not everyone works, in my opinion, but I think overall, like, I think he's pretty quality.
For me, I'm not a big Conway fan. This is the second project I've listened to all the way through. I did fairly enjoy God Don't Make Mistakes from last year. I still would probably only give it like a 7.5, maybe, just because like the sound is still, like, I'm not still super into the whole Coke rap Griselda sound. This one I'd rate it, probably like a 6, maybe, because like there still is a handful of good tracks on here. And he is trying a bunch of different stuff, but like even the ones that like do hit, like kind of just seem like it's like, okay, these are just formulaic kind of Griselda type tracks talking about the same kind of stuff. Like, it's still not like completely wowing me. Whereas what really got me about God Don't Make Mistakes is the vulnerability and the rawness of it, where there's almost none of that on this one.
Yeah, this one didn't take that same posture, and it was not as like revealing of like every single part of his life. I mean, because also, you can't do that more than once almost, right? Because some albums have to be kind of just a victory lap and kind of just like, all right, I'm standing up on this soapbox again,
and I'm not mad
once
at it.
Again,
like,
tell you about how dope I am and how everybody else kind of fucking sucks, and
and there are songs that I do really enjoy on here, but
what were some of your faves?
The first 3 tracks I think are pretty great. Quarters, Bruce Fix, Monogram.
Yeah.
Flesh of My Flesh is one of my favorites, and so is The Chosen with Jay Skis.
I thought one thing about like I saw some reactions on Twitter of people like Griselda fans being like, "Look, I love Griselda, but like you can't rap on this like
Stab Out." That one's the keys are just fucking.
The song Stab Out was like, someone was saying like Griselda has to stop making songs that sound like you fucking pushed a piano down a flight of stairs and it's just fucking
yeah, exactly.
But Conway and Ransom on that track really like come at it with a really vicious
Ransom
energy.
verse in particular is really, really great. I thought
Ransom, like his alliteration is crazy.
His rhyme scheme is great.
He says something about like, I'm gonna extort the North.
Yeah, he takes the East or some shit, and then
he rhymes like his whole verse like with and a very kind of Buffalo accent thing that I couldn't really do a good impression of if I tried. But like Brucifix is a song that like has this relentless trumpet or horn section that kind of just goes,
repeats over and over,
and then hits you with this like obscure like guitar riff. This is I think Derringer's production.
I wrote that. Derringer's all over this a little bit, and
that song was challenging to me at first, but I think the more I listened to it, I kind of started to appreciate its sort of uniqueness. And
I agree as well, because I'm not the biggest West Side Gun fan, but like this song at first was like, okay, whatever, but the more I listen to it, it's pretty great.
Monogram is another good one. Old
Lush,
School.
I wrote Old School as well. Talks about his meeting with Jay-Z a little bit. I like the chorus as well. Like, he kind of talks about like, kind of braggadocious shit of like, where he is and now kind of the levels he's at in the game and how rich he is type shit. And then the chorus is still, I want to sell cocaine forever. So it's okay. So he's gonna keep selling cocaine while also living this lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, like he still has a sense of humor about it. Flesh of My Flesh was kind of him. That was like, he started this whole spooky thing, like saying the spooky a lot and like, it's gonna get spooky, and he evokes that, and that term really started to kind of gain steam from him saying,
because he said on one of these songs like, I might have founded that shit.
Like I might have coined the term, but like just look at the impact that it's had. And I like every Halloween I look forward to a new Griselda tape with a bunch of like spooky horror beats, because really I think you can just keep making them when you have like the voice that conveys the sense of danger.
Do it properly,
Sure. And that's another, I think, Derringer produced song.
This one is like crazy to me. Of like, it's like a Black Sabbath song almost, of like some of the haunting like guitars and shit. Like, it's just
like it kind of has like a obscure B movie.
Yeah,
like they could have pulled it from some fucking ancient vault somewhere.
Very evil. And Conway's just flowing on. It's a very simple song, just one verse, no chorus, just fucking bar.
But he raps really fast on that one too. Like that's what I like as well as a Conway aficionado, is seeing him attempt different types of flows a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Still kind of, I would like. I guess the criticism is fair that it's content-wise, it is a lot of what we've heard before from him.
Right.
But I think he tries a lot of new stuff. Like even there's a song at the end of the album where he raps on sort of more of a traditional trap beat with like Juicy J.
Yeah.
So like that was fun to get to see him like jump into that pocket as well. Near the end, like there were some songs that didn't, like some experiments that maybe sounded a little bit off to me.
Right. I was kind of offended. Let me know what you think. But the Kill Judas song, almost like an interlude, it almost serves as like an interlude with like a spooky kind of production. But it's just a bunch of people kind of like in media, I guess, like saying Conway the Machine or whatever over and over. And I'm like, we could have been in there. We've talked about Conway before.
Yeah, I know.
Where are we, Conway?
Conway the Machine.
I was half expecting to. Yeah, let's do a bunch right now for the next one.
Yeah, I think that was that was more him reacting to like the news spreading lies about, or because it's true that the Griselda guys have done a lot of good things for people in Buffalo.
Yeah,
that don't get necessarily the same media attention that some of the negative things would get. Another song I would like to mention, The Chosen with Jay Skeese.
Yeah,
that's
that
like
one's great.
NFL Sunday kind of music.
Yeah, a lot of horn based, but also I love their like back and forth between the two.
Yeah, he brings the appropriate energy that you would want to have for that kind of track. I don't know. Water to Wine.
I'm not the biggest fan of that one.
Kanye song didn't
because,
like as much
because it's like almost like weird kind of Christian-y songs in there, or at least like Kanye is specifically. Like, that one's a Christian kind of almost Kanye-like production song.
Yeah.
He had some bar in there. Convos with Kanye. I'm keep to myself. Presumably about Hitler. What irks me about that song is like he has like a kind of a short verse, and the rest of he's not really on the rest of the song. It doesn't really feel like a Conway song. But
that reminded me of in Griselda news recently. There was this picture that came out.
That was so fucking funny.
It was a picture from, there was a raid on the Peruvian Nazi Party headquarters, where they found all these bricks of cocaine that had swastikas like stamped on them, and one of them was opened up, and the word Hitler was like printed into the brick.
So fucking G, man.
And like
once
the Griselda guy saw this, I mean, once West Side Gun, who has like the Hitler wears Hermes, like he was like, are they just giving me new like album covers? Then I saw a couple like interesting quote tweets of people being like, look, I know it's like kind of a joke, but like, are you really putting all this Nazi imagery out there? Like, are you really serious about this shit? And West Side Gun just kind of laughs it off because it's just the aesthetic is funny, and obviously he's not really a Nazi. He's
from Buffalo. Come on.
But it's just sometimes memes become real, and then.
Do you think? Because I've been watching Hip Hop Evolution, and I've been thinking like there hasn't really been that many
Nazi rappers.
Yes, but there's also
did Adolf have bars?
Yeah.
The Epic Rap Battles of History has something to say about this.
For good reason, there's been no Nazi rappers, but the East Coast West Coast thing, they heavily talked about that shit in the past season 2 and 3, and there hasn't lately there hasn't really been any East Coast really strong East Coast contenders besides like Nas continuing, but Nas is like a veteran and Jay-Z is like a veteran. There's no like besides like Griselda, has there?
Well, you could talk about A$AP Rocky, but his popularity has probably peaked already back in like 2014 or whatever. Action Bronson.
Yeah.
There's some.
I
If you're
think
talking East Coast, you're talking about Atlanta as well and shit. You know.
I think the separation comes from the fact that like
It's always like New York versus California.
Yeah.
musically everything is melded into like back in the 90s there really were two different sides, two different sounds from the East and West Coast, and New York was seen as like they invented rap and like so they kind of had a certain like protectedness over it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now
Yeah, totally.
the influences are so bled together that the idea of having these regional like conflicts doesn't quite work anymore because like even if you were to take ASAP as or the ASAP crew as like the New York sound, they took a lot of their influence from like 3 6 Mafia and like sounds from the South anyway. So really when you start to get into like that, it's all one big world.
And to answer your question, I probably think Pop Smoke probably would have been, because he was from New York, I'm pretty sure that he would have been like, you know, really fucking huge, obviously.
Yeah, it's never like it wasn't really like a trying to bring back East versus West kind of thing, but like it was more of like a if that was like to go on today, like would there be like a strong contender? Like basically not even like scratch that actually. It's more of like what big names have come out of New York recently? Is like besides Griselda, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't
Griselda
know.
seems like to be like the bigger
Pop Smoke.
Fabio Foreign.
Fabio is just a little New York drill stuff is pretty big right now, but
I'm just curious.
I'm just not as in tune.
There's
with
a lot
that
of
sound.
rappers that are technically from someplace, but not really connected as much to like the regional sound kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that moved to New York to become big.
Yeah.
I don't know. A Boogie is from New York, right?
There's a lot
He's
of like
doing numbers still.
He's
somehow.
pretty big
there's
rapper.
a lot of like Texas guys, and there's like a lot of California guys. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
If, like New York has had a fresh blood. You know.
There's still sort of a regional thing in California with guys like Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah.
Well, that's also just
Schoolboy Q.
That's also just like the rise of LA and Hollywood being like you have to come out here if you're gonna be big at all.
Right, but those guys are all California natives
based as well. Yeah.
Whereas like Travis Scott's for like from Houston, Texas, and it's not the same as it was in the 90s. It's like
And I don't know if like,
short answer to your
and just
question.
with the way the internet and the way we have access to everything, like and like Alex was saying, like how sounds just blend together nowadays. I don't think there's ever really going to be another strong prevalent East West.
And I hope that there isn't going to be like a East versus West again because that shit was gnarly.
Yeah. Now if YG killed Pop Smoke, that who knows?
Maybe,
but
But like, it was just been on my mind because we were talking about Buffalo and the fact that like Hip Hop Evolution is on my mind.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching it a lot. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts were on that.
Yeah, as far as interest, like rappers we're more interested in, like there is a strong contingent of Great Lakes region stuff from guys from Detroit, Buffalo, Chicago, and guys from like Toronto and the surrounding regions that are that's kind of there's a lot of like I guess in more of like the alternative rap scene that we're more into, but if you want to talk like drill scenes, like there's that's where you get into more of like the regionals, like areas where they have beef and they hate each other.
Yeah, and there's actual gang violence in between some crews.
But that I don't know how we got into this topic anyway.
It was me. I completely hijacked.
Fuck you!
The topic.
Back to West Side Gun. Dave East has a bar in the song "Water to Wine." It says "Pussy water like Dasani." What? I'm not eating pussy.
Trash.
I'm not eating pussy if it tastes like Dasani. I'll be real, because Dasani is trash. So
if your girl's pussy tastes like Dasani, you need to get her checked out.
Yeah,
because that mineral taste could be an early sign of a yeast infection.
Yeah, there you go.
I was trying to think of like, wait, what do girls like suffer from again? Oh yeah,
this is life, I think, in period. Is there anything else I want to talk about?
I think that's about it for our Conway review.
I thought it was a little bit weird on the song "Won't He Do It," like to have the Love the Genius girl to like kind of finish, because to me Super Bowl is almost like a bonus track.
Oh yeah, honestly, I didn't really like her whole thing that much.
Yeah, and also it's kind of weird just to kind of end off like this really poignant song with a whole her verse, kind of thing. And regarding the song Super Bowl, I think it's pretty trash. Sauce Walka's verse is terrible. Juicy J, it's okay.
I mean, it's just
but
like
whatever.
a strip club jam. It's, but
it doesn't fit.
That's why like it doesn't. It's not as you wouldn't rank it as high as other Griselda projects.
And the Won't He Do It song is kind of on like a Drake type beat, which I thought was a little bit interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying new sounds on here, and some of them hit, some of them miss. But there's good songs on here too. So
Brooklyn Chop House was
that's a good one too with Benny and Fabulous. I'll take a quick piss break.
Okay.
While we figure out what we want to talk about next.
Do you want to do Spider-Verse or just get into...
We can do Spider-Verse quick.
Okay.
I listened to it once last night, a bit of it today, so I don't have too many thoughts. No, I have not.
Metro Boomin wants some more spiders.
You're wearing kind of almost a Marvel kind of shirt, a little bit.
New
episode on YouTube.
New shit from Redbubble. This is a Monster Kanye...
And our merch may be available on Redbubble at some point in the near future.
Book.
Yeah, SuperFinger
cover.
SuperFinger merch on Redbubble coming soon.
You got cartoon Kanye, zombie Rick Ross, werewolf Jay-Z, Medusa Nicki Minaj on there. You can't see it that well because these cameras don't zoom in. Metro. I don't know if he didn't do all the beats on this album, right?
There's a few little.
There's one by Honorable C Note.
Yeah, there's a few Honorable C Note tags that I peeped. I'm sure he's like curating it, but and a lot of the production is probably him, but not all of it, I would presume.
Honestly, soundtrack albums are like a category unto themselves.
Aside from Black Panther, which is like the outlier, because that's like a. Because they're not mentioning Black Panther every 2 seconds. Like, there's songs that stand out apart from the soundtrack. Like, I feel like people saw this album and saw like the Creed 3 one that Dreamville did as being like, oh, they're going to be proper albums with like, and it's not going to be all talking about the movie, but like that's generally what soundtrack albums are for the most part. Yeah. I think Black Panther is kind of the outlier there. So
I'll say this much, that like I think the album does provide like interesting soundscapes to work with for the movie itself. Like I could see some of these songs like working well, playing in the background of certain scenes or whatever. Like
that's to me what makes a good soundtrack.
And because when I was listening to this, I was thinking about how that Sunflower song with Post Malone and Sway Lee is like one of the biggest like streaming songs like of all time, and I like how it was incorporated into that Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah.
And just like into setting the scene of like who this Miles Morales character is and the world he lives in.
Yeah.
And
but the song also wasn't necessarily having to do with Spider-Man, so it could be that popular on the charts. Whereas on this one, like some verses are just about like Spider-Man bars and shit, which is like cool, but like it's not. They're not going to get another song.
I think on a couple tracks they stuck to the theme of like. And did some clever wordplay things with Spidey-related stuff. Yeah. That still kind of works in a hip-hop sense. Yeah. But over time, like, it gets kind of exhausting and, like...
Listening to the whole album is a lot.
Listening to the whole thing, yeah, it's a chore.
Because there are some fucking absolute duds on here, but we can get into it a little bit.
I like the first song, yeah.
Lil Wayne is the perfect kind of guy that you can get for this, where he's just gonna have spider punchlines all day, and he could just keep going, with it. Yeah. And Offset's verse is cool. Sway Lee's contribution is cool too. Fuck with it.
Sway Lee's like, suit up and swing through the city kind of thing, which is like, I think it's a good way of double meaning of that. Night out on the town, but it's also...
there's a lot of good double meanings here for sure.
Because like I think the songs make you think about like, it would be cool to be Spider-Man. Yeah, whipping around and...
When I was listening to this album last night, I was thinking like, what if this album was just this album and there was no movie? I'm like, would it work as a Spider-Man concept album? To an extent. Like I was kind of thinking about it in that sense.
And the answer to that question is no.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool though. Like the idea of that.
Yeah, YMF Doom probably could have made
just unlicensed out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did a whole fucking concept album about me being Batman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Please don't sue me.
I mean, Deltron 3000. Deltron 3030 did a whole like concept album about, you know, like this made up cyberpunk future that he like. It's almost like a book. That you
Right.
Can, like, do. It's crazy, you know. So it's like.
I'm sure it's possible, but like this is clearly a soundtrack.
This
album.
is like corporate America, though, so you're not going to get something like super creative like that.
And if you will, it'll be underground. You know,
it's all intellectual property that's owned by Disney and shit. Am I Dreaming with Rocky? I thought solid verse, from him.
The Rosie girl goes on maybe a little too long, but like it's a pretty good track overall. I think
creates a good sound.
Yeah, cool atmosphere.
Atmosphere. What were your opinions on the Future and Lil Uzi Vert song?
I couldn't fucking care. I wouldn't tune into a regular song by the two of them, so I don't see how.
Honestly, I kind of dug his Spider-Man bars on that one.
I don't mind Future on it, but I'm not a big Uzi guy, and I don't know. It just doesn't stick out to me.
He had some stuff about like, you know, Lil Uzi Vert, like, I had to crawl up on the walls or whatever, like, you're like, oh right, like a spider.
Yeah.
Right. Like
yeah, I feel like if you're 5 years old, this album
is
is fantastic. But other than that,
but like the reason I liked the next song that I wrote down on here, at least, Danger / Spider, Offset and JID.
Yeah.
Because I think that they took it the right amount of serious.
Yeah.
Like where it is a goofy concept. Yeah. So you might as well have a song where you go Spider. Yeah.
And the verses are very, like this isn't a typical JID verse or Offset verses, very Spider-centric. But they both do it well.
Offset randomly says, like, I fight atheists.
Well.
So, but like,
Square up, Offset.
I just thought there were funny bars on that one, and like,
got you, fucker.
You know, it made me think about how spiders are actually pretty
I fucking smacked a mosquito. For the
audio listeners,
that I'm going insane.
There was a mosquito. Andrew did not just slap Alex.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners.
Fucking atheist. Bitch.
I fight atheists. Smack.
Next one's kind of crazy. A 5-minute song called Hummingbird with just James Blake.
I thought, like, solid effort, but, like, it just didn't... I don't know. It just sounded kind of...
It's just hard to keep focused on a whole... 5 minutes of just that, you know.
Like, I like James Blake, but I felt like that song could have been workshopped a bit more, or I don't know.
Use the rap verse somewhere, maybe.
The next track was one of the big stinkers, in my opinion.
I didn't hate it as much as I was expecting to, with Nav and Sway Lee and Boogie with the Hoodie. Like, it's not great, but it's like, you know... I didn't delete it right away, so... If that makes it any better.
Nav has a bar where he says, treat the world like a guitar. I'm pulling strings for you.
Yes, I remember that one.
No comment.
And you know Spider-Man plays guitar all the time, right?
Yeah,
so that's why it makes sense.
Perfect theme.
Exactly. I hope there's a Nav version of Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse movie. They just go to a different timeline. There's Nav is Spider-Man. Pretty crazy. To me, this is the big stinker here. A Silk and Cologne with... actually, no, that one isn't that bad. With Offset and 8, I guess. I don't want to pronounce it.
That one was like, okay, they need to have like a more summery kind of Latin-inspired song just to give the movie or the vibe a little bit more of like the...
Well, he's part Spanish, no, in the movie? I think his
Morales. I mean, right? That's
so makes sense.
Latin name.
Yeah, to me, link up with Don Toliver, WizKid, Beam, and Toyin. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It is fucking terrible. I almost just couldn't listen to it even.
I feel like Don Toliver is just like
bad.
Reserve. Yeah, he's just like replacement level rapper or slash singer. Like.
Well, yeah, he's also fucking Metro Boomin's lackey at this point, so he's got to be on here at some point.
Yeah, Metro Boomin, like, relies on a lot of the same guys.
Yeah, because 21's on here, too, Don Toliver.
Don Toliver's on 3 songs. I think there's only one of them that was kind of decent.
Oh, yeah,
The one with 21 Savage...
And 2 Chainz.
I kind of liked.
I completely don't remember the song Home with him and Lil Uzi Vert. I wiped that from my brain. And Self Love with Coil Ray is pretty trash as well. Also.
Terrible.
Yeah. Nonviolent Communication with James Blake, A$AP Rocky, and 21 Savage. I hoped it would be better. It's okay, but
it's an interesting song.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it quite works.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see its soundtrack. We might have a further discussion about this in a different segment in the podcast, just soundtrack albums, especially rap ones, of like just some of the combinations they come up with is like.
Yeah, I've touched on this before.
Yeah, because like seeing like a JID and an Offset track is like pretty exciting to me. Like. I mean, sure, it would probably be a lot better if it wasn't for a Spider-Man movie, but like it's still an interesting concept, and it's cool to see some of the collaborations that happen on these albums.
What's important to know about soundtracks is that they're doing it for money.
Yes.
And they get paid a lot of money to be on a soundtrack to a fucking big tentpole dream, like, I don't know if it's not DreamWorks.
Disney. It's got to be Disney, right? Or Sony at this point? I don't know who owns Spider-Man, but... it'll be on Disney Plus probably, so what are you gonna do?
Actually, kind of bad Nas song at the end too. Like, I just didn't like what he was doing, trying to rap along to like a weird.
The first half I didn't like. The second half was a lot better, but couldn't really save it. But
yeah, it is crazy to think, going back to hip hop evolution, that during the times of Tupac and Biggie, there was also Nas was around and Jay-Z, and those rappers are still around,
still kicking it, still producing music.
And I've been meaning to kind of give Nas's new stuff a bit of a reappraisal. Because
you were a big fan of King's Disease 1 when we talked about it, and I don't know, did you listen to 2 or 3? I have
barely heard it since, and I never listened to any of the other albums in that series. But like, I am an OG Nas fan, so like maybe I should try to bone up on that a bit more. But I don't know, he's kind of boring at this point.
Hot take, perhaps. A lot of people might disagree, but I've listened to Illmatic and it's great, and that's about all I know. So.
Maybe I should stop dissing the classics. Anyway,
I don't know.
We didn't have that much to say about this, it turns out. So let's just move on to.
I'll go off on IDK right quick if you'll let me.
I'll let you.
So IDK, about this new IDK album, right, guys? I'll walk myself out. It's called F65. It's kind of a concept album of, I don't know, a race car driver, but I couldn't fucking tell you what the actual concept is. There's a bunch of interludes and little voice description things that I don't really know what it has to do with anything. Maybe I'm stupid. But yeah, it says here on Apple Music, a bold, jazzy, conceptual album on life, race, and Formula One. But the best moments to me on this are the kind of jazzy moments. Like, the last track is literally just a jazz song called Freetown. And there are like some breakbeat kind of moments in here that are great. Like, when he's kind of experimenting a little more is when I fuck with it. Whereas the kind of just trap-centric songs like 850 with Rich the Kid, and Pinot Noir, and Salty with Annalie Choppa. Like, the more trap ones are like, okay, this is just him doing a trap song. It's pretty unimpressive for the most part. Yeah. To me, he's more interesting when he's trying kind of new sounds, new production styles. There are a few songs that I do very much like on here. Pit Stop, Thug Tear, Mr. Police, Almina is another kind of Latin-infused track. Not really into Radioactive that much. Rabbit Stew is one of my favorite tracks on there. Snoop Dogg has a thing called Middle Passes, but it's literally just him talking for like 30 seconds. So Your Man is a nice one. Superwoman, Up the Score with Benny the Butcher is a good one. But yeah, a little bit too skit heavy. Concept doesn't quite hit or isn't obvious enough to really resonate. So he swung, he missed a little bit, but he got some songs on here.
I mean, he got Annalie Choppa to do his album, so that's a win.
Yeah, Annalie Choppa and Rich the Kid. I don't know where he's pulling these fucking guys from, but the bottom of the barrel of the trap sound. But
yeah,
not big fans of those tracks or those rappers, but I'll keep looking out for IDK. Some solid songs. Listen to it if you're into a little bit more kind of experimental stuff. Give it a shot if you want, but nothing too crazy out there either at the same time. So
nice. Some
corniness, but some cool ideas. So that's what I'll say. I meant to write notes about it, but I'm like, no one else is going to listen to it, so it would just be notes for myself. But yeah.
All right.
I think it's the last album we have to talk about now. I think it's all just singles and shit. So I wanted to get that off.
Let's talk about Lil Durk, J. Cole.
Okay. All my life,
they've been trying to suck me off.
All right, come on.
They couldn't make me come. They couldn't make me.
Oh, God.
No, but for real,
very positive, nice song.
you know,
What are you gonna do?
doing a song for the kids.
I didn't like the song at first though. I was like, oh, they're just it's like faux positive. It's like they're trying too hard to be positive, where it kind of just comes off insincere. But like the more I listen to it, I'm like, no, it's a good song. J. Cole is kind of a positive, uplifting, kind of conscious guy.
Yeah.
IDK, fucking
Lil Durk.
Lil Durk might be kind of just doing it just to do it, but like, you know, I believe him at this point. I don't know, why not?
As far as like, yeah, is Lil Durk really like redeemable? Like, I don't know, man. I watched like the documentary about King Von
he's
and
a
like
real shooter.
All the bad things he did with King Von back in the day. I mean,
allegedly,
whatever. It's not me to judge or whatever, but yeah, why not just do a song like a positive kind of song? And like J. Cole has an interesting lyric about where he's like, a new rule for media is that you're not allowed posting somebody when they get killed if you weren't supporting them when they were like alive as well,
just for clickbait type shit.
Because you're just profiting
for press.
But that does make an interesting debate of like, okay, but if you're going to profit off of somebody's death, then you might as well also be profiting off of their But it's more like you're using the platform to give them more exposure.
Exactly, like, and a lot of the times, like, when these, you know, when, like, you know, Double XL or whatever might post about these rappers dying that no one really knows about, it's more so, I think of it as, like, giving them a platform that, you know, they didn't necessarily have when they were alive, just to, you know, get them out there a little bit more. I mean, obviously they could have done that when they were alive, but, like, I'm sure there's so many people that are applying to these fucking websites to try to get on or whatever, right, that you can't put on everyone. You're right. So
I just thought it was an interesting
for sure. I was thinking about that as well.
Perspective on that.
Well, as a rapper himself, I'm sure like that's, you know, he's right to feel that way, obviously.
Because it is crazy, like the idea that you just heard about this guy and it turned out that
when he's listening to their music, he looks them up and he's like, damn, they were pretty tight, and then
and you just think about what could have been. But I think Lil Durk is like probably kind of a villain, a real life villain.
Yeah, maybe.
But he's trying to be positive. So I'm, you know, who am I to hate?
I listened to a few other tracks on the album. The one with 21 Savage is pretty good. The one with the Juice WRLD is almost kind of just a Juice WRLD track, but it's decent.
They're still pumping out Juice WRLD songs.
I listened to the one with Kodak Black, two terrible people on the same song, and it was pretty bad. But
yeah.
All right, did you hear this? It's an EP technically. Jhene Aiko put this out. It's called Alive and Well: Gratitude and Mantra, and it's a 10-minute song of her just saying "Alive and Well" over and over again, over like a new age, like what you would hear in like a spa type music. And I'm like, this is to me what you were saying about Big Sean, about like this is just like this is like the kind of self-help music that's like really not genuine and shit like that. Like, this is just like, this isn't a song. This is a I don't know what it is. It's like background music. It's I don't know, man.
You can make background music and just call it background music.
But she also called it an EP, and it's one 10-minute song. I don't understand how that works either, but I listened to half of it, and I'm like, this is really just going to be the whole thing, huh? This is crazy.
If you don't like spiritual healing...
I don't. That's not true. I got an Eckhart Tolle book, so fuck me up on that shit.
Yeah. You are going to get some wisdom when you read that book. You're going to realize you were wrong about all your little opinions.
I'm going to get my tattoos all removed. Turns out.
Become a Buddhist.
Yeah.
Get a tattoo of Big Sean on my face. I listened to the first, 2 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is like,
Yeah.
spa music. So just listen to it the next time you're getting a massage.
Or if you're meditating, I'm sure people might find comfort from it. So teach their own. But...
Look, I will not tolerate any Jhene Aiko hatred on this podcast.
Sorry, bro.
Let's talk Post Malone. Morning.
Okay. So we shitted on, and we did a little dance off as well on the last song, Chemical. It's called.
If you ever wanted to see us attempting to twerk.
Yeah. On each other. There's that. And there's a new song called Morning, spelled with a U, from his new album Austin, which is coming out, I think, is it this month? Next month? In the summertime at some point? Don't wanna sober up.
No, I like it. It's good.
I like it too. It's simple, it's easy, it's summery tune.
I like how the verses are as well kind of reveal like how he's kind of miserable in his life, and like something about how, you know, he calls people up and like, oh, it turns out everyone's plans are free when the meals are free because I'm paying for everything. And like I threw a bottle at the sky as a warning to God or whatever. Like, you know, if you like kind of like alcoholic, like I'm strung out kind of.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like strung out kind of bars and shit, but it's like on like a nice sounding track and you know,
but yeah,
with a nice voice where it's kind of ironic in a sense.
It's not like a song that puts you through physical pain listening to it though.
You could just shut up and not listen to it, and like it's a summer jam that you would hear at a fucking pool party or something at the same time.
Yeah, that's like an interesting category of like summer jam that is actually, when you listen to it, quite a sad song.
Yeah, which I think if that's what the Post Malone album could be, it could be pretty good. But we'll see.
I will probably come up with some kind of criticism for it,
sure,
though, because I have a personal vendetta against the man.
Against white men, turns out. Speaking of whiteys, are we talking about MGK yet, or what? Are we getting into it?
White on white violence. We are reporting live from the White headquarters,
from the White House.
So MGK, last week we reacted to his Corday freestyle.
Spoiler alert, it's bad.
This episode we are talking about his Renegade freestyle, which he posted solo dolo.
Yep.
A lot better in my opinion.
I mean, yeah.
MGK is still overall corny, but like if we're comparing it, it was a bit better.
There are some bars that weren't as corny, which is nice.
Comparing the two, it was definitely better.
But there was the Stanley Kubrick bar where it was like, I got the shining like Stanley Kubrick. That bar went over your head. In what fucking sense?
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. Maybe we're just film bros out here, but like, fuck, man.
That could be another bar that we don't want to hear anymore. I'm shining like Stanley Kubrick. Like, if you're gonna make a Kubrick reference,
there's so much.
There's a whole world of lore you could jump into.
I don't know if I've heard a rapper do like a Kubrick stare bar. Like, I'm looking at her with the Kubrick stare or whatever from across the bar, fucking whatever that shit is. Yeah. I don't know how to make it quite make it.
Danny Brown said like Kubrick with two bricks, like Spielberg with eel words. Like he had a whole kind of
that one bar that was like, I think like Stanley Kubrick or some shit. What was his name? A straight A student. Spitting all this mucus or some shit. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Frank Ocean also had he had an R.I.P. Stanley Kubrick bar, but
yeah. I stare like Stanley Kubrick. I fuck like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
I have a strange relationship with my mom like Ari Aster.
Yeah.
But for
Fell
real,
in love with my stepdaughter like fucking Woody Allen.
To bring it back to MGK for a moment, it brought to mind that meme that's like, oh, the worst person you know just made a good point.
I love that post so much, dude. I love it.
Because he says, like, you think you're jacked, man? Yeah, it's because you jacked man's flow.
Yeah.
Give Drake his flow back or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, it's right, you're called Jack Man, because he named his album Jack Man.
Yeah.
You jacked the whole man's flow, but gave Drake his flow back, man. Which, if you're debating Jack Harlow versus MGK, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, go with MGK. But that's just because I've listened to some of the punk shit, and then, like, it kind of hits home to me a little bit. But
I think, you could, if you were going on, like, you have to listen to this one artist only, like, you would last longer with MGK than with only Jack Harlow's music, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's some jams, at least, in there.
Yeah, and he has a larger discography of different sounding music as well, where Jack Harlow just kind of does the same thing.
And I kind of like his trashness in a way, just because it's something.
It's very like Hamilton-y, of like white kind of trash. Like I could see him coming from Hamilton, MGK, like fully tatted white trash kind of thing. Like it's
but he's straight from Ohio.
I think I've met MGK a couple of times at Kill Room or some shit.
This isn't really turned into like a beef or anything, and this happened a couple of weeks ago,
it was
so
big
no one
on
really
Twitter
cares.
At this point, no one gives a fuck.
But there was MGK also put out another song.
Yeah, called Pressure. To me, it's pretty much it's just a showcase to debut all his funny little hats that he has. in his little collection.
Yes, he has these little toques with the...
He has little horns on it. He has little
horns.
shiesties that are interesting shaped. And
he had a rabbit-style hat.
he had a
that
hat that
wore.
just said, "I'm from Cleveland" or something. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. The video was him hanging out with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah.
The two worst people in the world.
And
Well,
to
not
me,
them,
like...
but-
Did he break up with Megan Fox or something? Or is that like...
It was they were on the outs for a bit, but as far as I can tell, they're still together.
Because I was thinking maybe it had sort of breakup energy of like, oh, I'm on my Savage Boy shit
Right.
now.
No,
or
I think
whatever.
they're still together, but I don't know. I feel like my girlfriend
He's-
would have told me if they're
He also
not
said
together
something
anymore.
about like, I broke my heart once or something. Or I don't know. When you were saying showcase, I thought you were about to say like showcasing that he like rapping on different flows and like the beat changes several times.
Well, to me,
and
it's
stuff.
showcasing that he can't come up with a fully fledged good rap song because he has to change the beats so much that to keep it interesting that he can't like put together a proper fucking
No, yeah. I mean,
cohesive
in
song.
all seriousness, the song was fucking trash.
Yeah, full of bad bars. I guess he had a Charizard bar, but I'm annoyed that he called it. What would he say? Like a Charizard. I'm like, I guess there are multiple Charizards out there, but it sounded weird to me. Just say like Charizard. Don't say a Charizard.
You're so fucking nerdy.
That is the most granular fucking criticism I've ever heard, but I'll support it because
Alright.
it's an enemy.
All right.
of
Well,
ours.
how about this one? Where he has a piss and shit bar like right away.
He's like,
the-
oh, I it's a toilet and I piss in it
yeah.
because I take so much shits, or I don't know,
Yeah.
some kind of.
And then the second beat switch after that is I wear chains with my shirt off when I get my dick sucked. She keeps it in her throat like she got the hiccups.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, but it's just so
But it's
trashy
gross.
white boy where it's just
Yeah,
like,
it's
ew,
gross.
man. It's like, fuck.
I don't
You
wanna-
shouldn't say that in public, but like
Yeah.
it is kind of like, all right.
I don't
whatever.
want to
I
think
mean, it's
about
not, yeah, it's fucking rap, so like it's not outlandish to say, but it's you know,
Yeah,
it's a little gross.
we're talking about hip hop here.
Yeah.
The most profane, ridiculous genre of music
Yeah.
ever existed.
All right, a few more tracks. Okay, let's get into the Hillbillies.
Finally,
at
some
this
good
point.
music.
Baby Keem, Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick's back, baby, and so is Keem. And
Dot.
they're silly. They're silly with it.
Two phones, two emotions.
Like how? What did he say again?
That's
like
a deep, 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 deep ocean. That twat.
That twat.
No.
Aroused. Yeah, a lot of great ad-libs showcased on here as well. But
Honestly, everything I liked every aspect of it. Even the fact that it came out on as a YouTube video first before it was
Yeah.
on any, because it forced you to watch it
yeah,
and see about a lot of it was a promotional thing about
Tyler,
Camp Flog
yeah.
Gnaw.
And it's super cool just to like. I was watching it and it took me a while to just appreciate like, man, like Tyler and Kendrick are like two of my favorite artists of all time. Like it's crazy that they're just like hanging out, having fun together in this music video. Like even if they never release music
Yeah.
together, it's cool that
At Dodger
that
Stadium.
they collabed in that a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like the video like demonstrates like that they're, I guess, the aesthetic choice of this song, that we're having fun and trying to just give us a
Yeah,
give
it's
us
like
a
they're
summer
on
jam.
tour, like in Europe, on their last tour, and they just like made the song. It's
Riding
super
around in
fun.
private jet.
Let's just fuck around, dance weirdly, and have a kind of a low budget music video to this. And I think
Yeah.
it works in like every aspect, like you said.
Apparently Bon Iver sample.
this I recognized it fucking immediately, and I texted Andrew. This is a song called PDLIF, which is Please Don't Live in Fear, which came out right at the start of the pandemic. It was like for a COVID relief funds and shit like that. It's a great song. I love that. Actually, I think it's one of the. It was supposed to be like for like an album that never came out. I love the song. I recognized it immediately. I wish that they chopped it up a little bit more. I wish that the beat they got more experimental.
Because it is
with the beat.
pretty prevalent, the
Yeah.
sample. I will say the
Sample-
beat in itself is pretty unconventional in terms of
Yeah.
the pattern of it and the way they flow on it. Like, they change flows throughout the whole
I
thing.
like
It
it
keeps
when-
it super
I
interesting.
like
Yeah.
it when artists, when producers completely change up the beat so you don't even recognize it. The fact
Yeah.
that I recognized it immediately was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. They use the song.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wish they messed around.
Well,
with it
people
more,
were also
you know?
saying it was a sticky interpolation from the Honestly Nevermind album from Drake, but I haven't heard that song probably since it came out, so I don't really, I didn't really bag it.
Once this song dropped, the contrarian takes began of, if you liked this but you hated Honestly
That's such a
Nevermind,
bullshit.
you're a dick eater.
Because Drake was not rapping on that album. Like,
No, but it's like I get that it's like a dancey.
But also, it's like
interpolation.
It seems like it's also something that like RX nephew or whatever with the fuck one of these fucking rappers that I don't even fucking know anything about would rap on. It seems like a new age kind of experimental beat in the same sense, you know. No,
I thought it was like a challenging piece of music. Like it wasn't.
Took me a few listens to really fucking get into it. But,
one note.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of personality and humor that came through that is completely absent from Drake's. Honestly, never mind.
And it's and you know, especially after, like, obviously we got a lot of Kendrick and Keem stuff like pre Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But it's cool affirmation of like seeing Kendrick just having fun after a very serious introspective album about all his problems and how he's not doing well, to just be having fun on tour with his cousin is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
So.
To somebody, to an old school Kendrick fan, I could see maybe them being like, what happened to you know, the best conscious rapper ever?
Because he's not trying to be conscious right now, but that's okay. Because like, what are you gonna? He's gonna have to be conscious. For the rest of his career. Like no, like.
You're allowed to be fun, you know.
Yeah, do whatever you want, man.
Have fun every once in a
but
while, you know?
But again, they don't have to like it either.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to like the song either.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can argue he fell off, but like...
But I don't think they're going to have like a lot of songs that sound similar to this, necessarily.
But who's to say, because this, you know, with Tyler announcing Camp Flog Knot in this, is this presuming that Baby Keem and Kendrick might be headlining a show together? And does that mean we're getting maybe a Baby Keem Kendrick album in the future? And how would they make that work with all the songs sounding maybe like this? Would they have to have some different sounding stuff in there? Like, how would you kind of, you know...
It's an interesting question. Something to speculate, for sure. Write down in the comments your theories.
To me, it would have to be different. Like, if it's an album just of this, it would get boring to me, or it would just get less interesting and just, you know, be repetitive. But, like, that's with any piece of music almost. Like, you know, I want some variety in it, so... If we do get an album, I hope it's kind of taken from both Baby Keem's influences and from Kendrick's a little bit. But I think they do bring out something interesting in each other. So
they do a lot of bars about relationships and emotions and just how you act and how you are. I don't know. I think they do. There is lyrical content there to look into. Yeah. But it's more of a jokey.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's like bars necessarily, but there's like, you know,
it's not like the type of thing you'd analyze the same way that you would Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers or whatever.
Exactly.
Now that you got me thinking about it, like the idea that Kendrick fell off or whatever, you could make the argument, but at the same time, the fact that he made some of the best hip hop music ever has already solidified his place, so that he and also you can't say anything like even if he fell off, he was like. He's already solidified his place, so therefore it's like, you know, I mean, like it's like Nas, you know, even if Nas has put out some, you know, less than stellar stuff, he still made it Omatic, you know, he's still solidified as one of the best rappers on the planet.
And if you argue like, oh, he fell off like commercially, which like is yet to be seen, because Mr. Morale like I think did pretty well, but not as good as his older stuff. Like, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers tour. Was one of the highest grossing tours of all time in terms of like revenue and shit. Like, so he's clearly not falling off. Like, if you like it or not.
Look, I'm not in the Kendrick fell off camp at all. I'm liking this
because I don't want another type of butterfly. Like, I want to, you know, try to make something new, and like this is exciting to me because like rap, kind of, in my opinion, like maybe needs a little bit of a, you know, new sound rejuvenation type.
Needs a bit of a jolt. You know, especially with this AI stuff.
Yeah. Almost done here. Excuse me.
We'll hit you up with a couple more songs to talk about.
Gene Dawson dropped 2 new tracks.
I listened to it. They're pretty crazy.
Little EP, pretty experimental, pretty cool stuff he's doing there. So check out that if you're kind of into a little bit of the rockier sound, but also into hip-hop as well. There's influences, a bunch of different influences pulled from a bunch of different
places. One of them has sort of a Thundercat
I got that.
Inspiration to the guitar work on it. Brent Faiyaz did a song with Marshmello.
Yeah, I actually like that quite a bit.
I was thinking this would be more up your alley since you didn't like last Brent Faiyaz thing because it was a little too boring and it was a little too quote unquote well produced. And
I'm gonna walk that back a little bit. It probably isn't top 10 worst albums of the year because I was listening to it a little bit this year and like. Jackie Brown's a fucking smash. I love that song. And there's some songs I go back to that are
Yeah.
like, there's too many like pretty to really good songs on there to have it be that bad. Like, I think overall as an album listening experience, it still isn't great. But there's enough good songs in there to have it not be that bad. So, but
when you're a guy like Brent Faiyaz, who's a little bit more evolved R&B style, it is good to hear him on simple, clubby production. Marshmello is kind of more.
That's his vibe.
I mean, he's a guy who wears a gigantic marshmallow on his head. So
do we even have to say anything else?
But yeah, it's just a simple, fun kind of.
Yeah, short and sweet.
I feel like a lot of this is fun summer-ish music that we've talked about in this episode.
Speaking of the new No Worries track, I like quite a bit with Anderson .Paak and Knowledge. Very kind of retro 80s synth kind of music. I love the guitar solo in it. Did you see the music video where it's just like his GTA character kind of going around and just causing ruckus? It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I thought the song was kind of boring to me, but I mean, I think it's a vibe.
I think it stands out more than the There He Go, or I don't even remember what the song is called. The one they dropped last year, which was kind of like, we both kind of agreed that was just kind of like not that interesting. But I think they're going on tour in like Europe right now, so hopefully we'll get that this summer. Could be a good summer album. So I listened to the Summer Walker EP mainly because it has a Gambino feature and a J. Cole feature. And I liked it quite a bit. I really should be getting into Summer Walker more.
I heard it for the first time today, and it's very it's very like sultry and
well done, well sung, well written. Even if it's like an EP that's kind of almost some throwaway stuff, like it's.
She really gets into the nitty gritty, I guess, the details.
Which we should have known when he talked about eating ass on the Kendrick album, but she definitely gets into the nitty gritty.
The song with Childish Gambino is definitely like an all-time like sex jam kind of thing.
Because he's doing like ASMR, he's trying to fucking speak right into your
it's almost a little bit unsettling.
Yeah.
But I mean, for Pride Month, I think it's probably the right thing to do. Listen to this and get your.
And the J. Cole song was I thought was great too.
Get off. Verse. Get off from listening to this shit.
Yeah.
Like she's literally on the song being like, thighs, ass. Like
I would love to chant that at a concert.
All sex jams just brought down to the micro level.
Just a description of a human anatomy. You know.
That's all they are.
So sexy.
Really,
no, but Summer Walker sells it. She sells it and paints a vivid picture of like the type of person she is, the type of relationships she gets into, and then there's a song near the end where she kind of just goes on a bit of a monologue, which is kind of gives you an interesting perspective at least. Like I only heard it the one time, but it left an impression on me at least.
Yeah, I've only listened to it twice as well, but I'm gonna go back to it for sure.
Yeah.
Dominic Fike new album Sunburn is coming this month or next month maybe we'll get Alex to listen to it.
He did a song also somehow part of the the
Spider-Verse, but it's not on that album. It's like on the deluxe because maybe those ones aren't Metro Boomin didn't have anything to do with maybe because it's a Kenny Beats song Mona Lisa with Dominic Fike and I really like it a lot.
Me too.
That's very very just nice acoustic guitar driven track, and the one that came out called Antpile, I think it's gonna be on the new album. Very kind of quirky, cutesy kind of track about kind of falling in love when you're younger versus when maybe you're in high school, then when you're older kind of thing, and how that progresses and stuff. So.
Yeah, honestly, Dominic Fike, we cover him on this show, but like he had the radio hits 3 nights, and. The other one was kind of a minor hit with the Kenny Beats.
Oh, phone numbers.
Yeah. And like he has everything to be like a sort of crossover alternative rock / hip hop.
Yeah.
Star. Like he has all the star qualities.
And he's on Euphoria, so. He acts.
And when I hear his songs, I think like, no, I get this. Like I get it. This could be big.
Yeah.
But I haven't listened to like a full album of his yet.
Yeah.
We're kind of waiting on something big from him.
His one from a few years ago was like not the best. It has grown on me actually a bit since. But there are still some weak songs on there. But I'm looking forward to his new one here for sure. But yeah. What are we on now? 53 now or 2?
That was episode 52. If you're listening to this, suck our dicks.
Remember when I didn't say it would be a long episode and it's 2 hours, 10 minutes?
11 now.
We will have to cut some things.
Yes.
That's
Maybe we'll cut the Island Boy. No, we were having fun earlier, though.
Yeah.
Pretty funny stuff, guys. We're pretty great at podcasting, right? Let us know that we're great at it in the comments.
And now we're just going to talk to each other.
Like,